Hi everyone, my name is Bayza and I'm a junior here at ISU, and last spring semester I studied abroad in Costa Rica. So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Costa Rican life and culture to prepare you for your trip if you're going to Costa Rica, or to maybe give you an idea that Costa Rica might be a cool place to go. Enjoy! So we'll start off with one of my favorite topics, which is food. Costa Rican food is delicious, and it's one of the things that I really miss about being there. One of the main Costa Rican dishes is called gallo pinto, which is basically a mixture of rice, beans, cilantro, and other ingredients that's typically eaten for breakfast, but it's also eaten at other times of the day as well. Fruit is another big part of the Costa Rican diet, so you'll be eating lots of fresh mangoes and papayas and passion fruit and things like that. I even tried some fruits that I didn't even know existed that don't grow in the US, which was amazing. And there are fruit smoothies called batidos that are very popular that you can find pretty much anywhere in Costa Rica while you're traveling. So I encourage you to try all sorts of different foods when you're there, really get a good taste of your host mom's home-cooked meals, and then make sure you try seafood when you're on the coast and really embrace the Costa Rican cuisine. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is a phrase that's very popular in Costa Rica, which is pura vida, which directly translates to pure life, which means life is good. So people will say this all the time. Like if you say, "Oh, how are you?" they might respond pura vida. So, ¿Cómo estás? Pura vida. Or instead of saying "you're welcome," they might say pura vida. So it's just a way to spread around this happy, good feeling. A lot of Costa Ricans are very warm and welcoming, which is a wonderful part of their culture and the experience of visiting Costa Rica. And if you don't speak Spanish, don't worry. A lot of Costa Ricans do know some English, so they'll be able to help you out. And don't be afraid to practice your Spanish because they're very welcoming and happy when you practice Spanish with them. Something else in Costa Rican culture that's a little bit different than here is what people sometimes call Tico Time. So Tico just means Costa Rican. It's like a nickname for Costa Ricans. So Tico Time is the concept of social events starting a little bit later than the actual time set. So if you go there and you're going to go meet up with some local friends, don't be surprised when they show up a little bit later than you planned, because it's the cultural norm and almost an expectation for people to show up 10 to 15 minutes late, sometimes more, to social events. But this does not apply to things like classes and business meetings and in a more formal setting. But in social settings, it's very relaxed and flexible with the starting time. So that's something that you need to be aware of, especially coming from the US when everyone's very concerned about getting there on time and paying attention to time and things like that. But please show up on time to university classes. Tico time does not apply there. Transportation is another big part of Costa Rican life, especially for international students, and a wonderful thing about studying abroad in Costa Rica is the ease of public transportation. There's a bus system that pretty much goes all throughout the country, so you can easily find out which bus you need to take if you want to go to San Jose, the capital, for example, or Cartago, another province, or if you want to take the bus to a beach on the weekend. So there are lots of different options for you to travel through the bus system, and it's relatively cheap to travel. You can usually pay in cash or coins to get onto the bus, and if you have any questions about what bus routes to take, you can always ask your host family and the other people who are there in Costa Rica on site to support your trip. Taxis are also very popular and easily available as well in Costa Rica, especially if you're going out at night or something like that. A taxi is a really great option. Communication is another important thing to know about when you're studying abroad and going to a new country. So something about Costa Rica is that Wi-Fi is very widespread and commonly found. So your host university will definitely have Wi-Fi, and pretty much all of the houses of the host families have Wi-Fi as well. And then typically restaurants and cafes in different places tend to have Wi-Fi too. So it's readily available, and an app that a lot of people in Costa Rica use is called WhatsApp, which is basically just like normal texting for them, but you can also use it to send messages, make voice calls and video calls to the US and any other country for free as long as you're using it through Wi-Fi. So you can bring your phone with you and just use it for Wi-Fi if you you'd like, or purchase a Costa Rican SIM card so that way you can get data as well if you want to use your phone when you don't necessarily have Wi-Fi. Another option is to buy a cheap little Tico phone that you can take with you to call Costa Rican numbers. So there are lots of different options, but communication is very easy. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you were able to get a little glimpse into life in Costa Rica and Costa Rican culture. I just want to stress that these are just a couple little bits and pieces of the culture that I noticed and picked up on that I thought would be helpful for you to know before you go. But the best way to experience a culture is to go there and fully immerse yourself in it. So good luck with all of your travels, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. Pura vida!